Let's go quickly with the remaining holding period, CAGR, yield and IRR. So first thing, please understand what the data I'm taking is. So on the left panel here, you can see the date of allotment. It is 14 to 2006. 2006 to 2025 is 19 years. We know that the face value, of the mutual fund portfolio is 10 rupees. This is 31st January data, okay? And on 31st January, I'm taking one price, which is, you can see 95.51. In 2006, it was 10 rupees. 2025, it is 95, right? We have 19 years, right? The first returns what we are going to understand is HPR, and then we will come to CAGR. Now, when we say holding period return, as the name say holding period, right? So it's pretty simple, 95 minus 10 and divide by 10, 8.5 times. In percentage, it goes to 850%. So the holding period return is 850% or 8.5 times in 19 years. So holding period return 850 is correct, but dividing by 19 is wrong actually. And that's why what the regulator, let's say in Indian scenario, what the SEBI says that, and everywhere, worldwide, all the regulators, what they say is that it has to be presented in terms of the compounding growth only. When we go with the formula, okay, so let me go first with the formula and then the Excel function. So this is the formula, right? That means the future value, which is 95, it started with 10 in 19 years, okay, and let's see what the answer we are getting is 12.57. So this is what the compounding annual growth rate is. So we started in 2006, and we'll take data till 2025. So it started with 10 rupees, and then this 12.58 is every year, right? So we'll cross verify this. 12.58, okay, so 10 next year at 12.58 will be 11.25, and if we go like this, okay, our 2025 values should be 95. So we are getting 95. Let's test with the IRR also. Invested is 10, so we go with minus 10 because outflow. This is how the IRR function works, the inbuilt function works. So minus 10, and we don't know in between what the values are, okay? So putting 10 rupees in between, it can be any value, we don't know, and at the end it becomes 95, right? And let's again go with the IRR funda, okay, and let's see, enter, okay, up to 2 decimal, what we are getting is 12.58. So but the way it is presented is different. The end value is same, but how the numbers are presented are very different. The IRR is equal to CAGR in terms of the output only, not the way it is presented. If we have the absolute numbers, then IRR is the best way to know the yield or to know the returns. First, we found the HPR, which is 850%, okay, and then we found the CAGR. But the thing is, can we convert HPR into CAGR? And answer is yes. So it is your 1 plus HPR and raised to, again, it is the nth root, so 1 upon n minus 1. 1 plus your HPR raised to, this data is of 19 years. When we convert HPR into CAGR, 12.5. So our focus should be on HPR. Once we know HPR, then we have to consider the time period, whether it is a 1 week, 1 month, 1 year or 10 years. The period plays very important role, right? If we know the period, then we can find the CAGR. And what is CAGR? On an average, what are the returns every year? Now let's come to what the yield is. So as we say YTM, that is yield to maturity. If any debt instrument is bought today, okay, in our case it is 959, and if it is hold till maturity, then what are the returns? Technically we call it YTM, yield to maturity. We need the parameters, what is the price paid today at present, so we need PV, right? So our 959, so please understand the terminology, okay, how it changes with the instrument. So in the fixed income securities, the price paid is the present value, which is 959. Okay, time to maturity is 3 years. Okay, on maturity, what the amount will be redeemed, it is a face value, which is 1000. And every year, what is the amount paid by the issuer? Okay, we call it the coupon amount, which is 9.6% on 1000, which goes to 96. And the thing is, again, we are using the same function, which is a rate function, the one we used for the CAGR. Okay? And if we go with this, so 3 years, okay, PMT is the periodical payments or receivables, which is 96. What is paid today, present, is 959. minus because it is outflow, and in future it is 1000 return, right? So it has to be 11.29, so up to 2 decimal. And the last is we go with the XIRR. Now what is XIRR? When we did IRR, and you observe here, it is 25, 26, 27. That is, it is a uniform period, correct? The period is uniform, but practically it's not uniform. The coupons or the dividends or the cash flows can differ. It can be postponed by a quarter's time, or delayed by, let's say, 2 months, 4 months, 3 months. Quite possible. They are not uniform. So practically the cash flow differ, and when it is uneven in nature, then instead of IRR, what we do is XIRR. If it is an uneven cash flow, we go with XIRR. Now, since the cash flows are uneven, what we need is dates and the cash flow. We need two things. Let's type XIRR and check the syntax. There are two parameters. One is the value and second is the date, correct? So why date? Because period is uneven. So if it is uneven, then how to consider those cash flows? That time we go with the XIRR.